Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the MediaByte channel. If you're interested in podcasts, you should listen to one of mine. Slash It is for all things horror movies, and I am currently going through the Final Destination series. Diary of an Indie Filmmaker is another podcast that I do. It's all short films, all art, all directing, writing, all that. That whole side of my life that I usually don't always talk about in videos like this. That's a whole podcast dedicated to just that. So if that's something you are interested in, you can go listen to that as well. So if any of those podcasts interest you, please type in MediaByte Podcast Network on all of your favorite podcast apps. They should be there. If they're not, please let me know, because it's usually a problem on my end and not on yours. And I will try to fix that for you as quickly as I can. But without further ado, let's just jump into why I love Mallrats. I really like Mallrats because I feel like it's watching the origins of a time where liking things isn't considered an embarrassment. And that liking things and enjoying things and liking things a lot is actually a part of a wider net of community and what it means to be a part of the human race. So let's just take a look at one of the largest parts about Mallrats that I think separates it from a lot of the movies that were coming out around this time. So many of the films that were coming out around this time were designed not for a generation that loved comic books and loved movies and TV and loved Star Wars and Star Trek and Batman and Superman in the way that 80s kids, 90s teenagers, 90s 20-year-olds would have liked those characters. So this film kind of shows that it's not bad to really like, movies and TV and characters and comic books and all that stuff. So one of the many reasons I like Mallrats is because of the way that the film looks at mall culture. I didn't really get a chance to look and experience mall culture the way that it's depicted in this film. I mean, all of my experiences in the mall, like when my now fiance, and I began dating, we would always go walk around the mall. But because we were teenagers at the time, everyone would just watch you and stare at you and think that you're a terrible person for simply existing in the mall and doing what every teenager has done for the past 45 years. And you don't really get a furthering mall culture if that is the prevalence that depicts all the malls. And look at malls that many malls are doing now, where I think it's like a lot of malls are doing like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. No one under the age of, I think, 18, but it might be lower than that, like 16, aren't allowed in the mall without a parent. Again, that doesn't instill a mall culture of hanging out the way that malls used to be. So for me, this film almost shows a culture of the mall that I will never get to experience in this way ever. So at least there are many cult films that do end up showing me what that culture was like at a certain time. We have Dawn of the Dead in 1978, showing the 70s mall culture and what it was like in 70s malls, which I've actually been to, which is really cool. And we have Mallrats, which is another 90s version of showing what that mall culture was actually like. I also think the entire premise of kind of introducing the View Askew universe, where Jay and Silent Bob actually come back and are in this film, and the way they introduce into Chasing Amy and Dogma, I think is really interesting, and it's kind of the beginnings of that kind of whole thing that has progressed all of Kevin Smith's movies in the last 30 years. Thank you all for watching. What do you think about Mallrats? And if you did get to experience 90s mall culture, is this a good representation? Is it a terrible representation of 90s mall culture? Is there a better film that represents 90s mall culture in a whole? Please let me know in the comments down below, because, leave a title down there, because I definitely want to see a movie that you think represents 90s mall culture better than Mallrats. Again, if you want to listen to all my podcasts, you can just search up Media by Podcast Network in all of your favorite podcast apps. You also can type in a certain podcast that you're looking for, /hit, Diary of an Indie Filmmaker, Media by Podcast Exploring Cinema, and you can find those in any of your podcast apps. So it's Media Byte Company on Instagram, Media Byte Co on TikTok. We do all kinds of TikToks over there, so you can definitely check those out. And that is it for today. Yeah. So go support them all. Go actually buy the things and don't just click some buttons on your computer and watch as it shows up in your house, because we are all humans and we all deserve interaction with each other, because that is why we're all here in the first place. So go outside, talk to a stranger, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.